Hello and welcome to the first episode of Game Dev Radio, a series in which we hear directly from those busy making a game about their development experiences. Today we are talking with Andrew, also known as Papercuts, who is taking up the challenge of making his first game ever. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me.
It really is wonderful to have you with me as my first guest. Now, tell me, what actually made you want to make a game?
Basically, I've been a PC gamer since a wee little kid. My dad brought home a PC when, 9 or 10 years old, something like that. And I've been a gamer ever since, non-stop pretty much. And just, now in my late 30s, kind of just, rethinking where my life's going. Not that, game dev's going to change my life, but I'm thinking like I do spend a lot of time playing games and I really enjoy that. But I thought, why not just try and make one with all this ease of accessibility we have now with all these engines out and all these tutorials and all these, devloggers and how-to things on internet, then why not just give it a shot and start off with something small and see how we go?
Yeah, it's true. It's never been a better time to learn and teach, actually, with the resources
Absolutely,
we have
yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
your game, how did you come up with the actual idea?
I actually came up with another idea and had that whole scope creep, feature creep thing happen like instantly, where I'm spending all day writing all these crazy ideas, and I'm like, no, this is way too complex. I'm not going to get anywhere near that. And then I was thinking, like, what's something that's quintessentially Australian in a way? And I thought, well, it was swooping season, magpie swooping season at the time, and you get on YouTube and you see all the people getting chased on their bikes by magpies in Australia, getting swooped and whatnot. And I thought that'll be perfect for a game. Why not just give that a shot and just start jotting down ideas and then see what I can come up with for that, So yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a great idea. So when you actually came up with this idea, it was something that was unique and so on, but the game mechanic and the story and the art for the game, how did you piece that together?
Well, basically, kind of just jotted it out really on paper, and then just kind of the ideas just start when I start. Some people might relate where you start with one idea and just everything starts pouring out, and you can't write them down fast enough. So with me, it was like that, and I was just like, why not make it like Street Fighter? Why not make it like Flappy Bird? Why not make it like, putting a bunch of game elements together and then kind of create a hybrid weird kind of thing. Like, I don't want to be like a platformer where you're flying all over this big world, because that'll just take too long to draw it all. So I thought, keep it simple to start with, have like a Street Fighter background, Street Fighter 2, where it's just a static background that might move left and right just slightly. And then the bird's world is just that area there to start with, and see what I can build on from that. So,
Okay, yeah, that sounds interesting, doable and accessible.
Yeah, you got to start small.
Yeah. What tools, in terms of game engine, did you look at to try and make this thing?
Well, I was just Googling around, quick Googles, what's the best game engine? And I've seen Unity, made with Unity, pop up in, dozens of games that I've got on my Steam library. And I thought, I'll give a look at that, have a look at some reviews. And, the tutorial people on the internet, on YouTube, they make it sound so easy and so accessible. So I'm like, right, I'm just going to go with Unity and just see how it goes, download it, watch some tutorials, and I'll be off and running. I'll have this game ready in a month kind of thing. I was all, that naive, wet behind the ears, greenhorn type thing. So I started with that, but I was also looking at Unreal, but there's so much with Unreal, that all these fantastic looking 3D games with big open worlds. And I was like, I can't even fathom where I'm going to start with something like that. So I just completely dismissed Unreal. To my detriment, later on, I saw that there's plenty of 2D games, simple 2D looking games out there that use Unreal. So, I kind of shot myself in the foot with that one. But yeah, I stuck with Unity for a few months and learned the gist of it, shooting around in the dark, as you say. And pretty much here I am now, but I have moved on to another engine as we speak, pretty much. So yeah.
Okay, and did you ever have a look at the open source engine Godot?
Yes, I did. I had heard of that, but it looked kind of in its infancy stage when I was just initially started browsing. Like, I didn't look into it deep enough. I just saw it and like, oh, that looks cool. It looks like Unity again, and kind of just put it to the side. But as I got further into making the bare bones of the game, so I started looking at other engines just out of curiosity to see if I could just reproduce what I've already made in other engines, and saw Godot as well. I was like, well, that's pretty doable too, and it's a lot more streamlined, user-friendly kind of interface. Whereas, like I said in one of my other videos, that Unity kind of just seems like things are just plonked on top of each other, and people will figure it out as they go, which I guess they do, but it's not really accessible to a complete noob like me. So yeah,
The art style of the game, I see it's kind of a pixel art style. What kind
yeah.
of tools are you using for that, and where did you sort of learn how to do pixel art?
Just loved pixel art from the very day dot, like Monkey Island 1 and 2, Leisure Suit Larry, all these LucasArts games. And then you kind of really didn't have a choice back then but to do pixel art. It wasn't called pixel art then. It was just what worked on the computer. So I loved all those games, and I've always been a nostalgia nerd from day dot with that. So I was like, well, if I'm going to make a game, pixel art looks easy enough to create something half decent, right? So I have a little bit of an artistic background, so I thought I'd give it a shot, and everything just started falling into place, like so lovely. Like it was really just everything just worked nicely. I'd made something like, oh, that actually looks all right. And it took me an hour. I made another thing, and then just started building skills with that. And that was with Aseprite. And I'm still using Aseprite now, the program, and just finding tutorials on YouTube, how to do shading properly, how to do, anti-aliasing, all sorts of little techniques just to make a basic pixel art character or background into something with more depth and character and whatnot. Sawtoons was a good example of who I got a lot of tutorials off, and Mort as well. So shout out to Sawtoons. I'm a big fan of his, and he's actually been watching some of the videos too. So yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, you've done well in a short space of time to produce the artwork that you've done.
Thank you.
I'm impressed. And
thanks very much.
What do you wish that you knew before you started making the game?
It's like, I just wish I knew how complex everything was. Just the idea of how code works, the idea of how to program a computer that doesn't know, a program that doesn't know anything in every tiny little detail. You got to tell the computer what to do in its language. So you're basically learning another language. And all these tutorials, even the Brackeys ones, like, oh yeah, this, anyone can do it. Yeah, just punch in these commands and this will happen, and hello world, and then punch in these commands and you got Minecraft, and then punch in these commands. Like, what? No, what? It seems so easy at first, and then you get into the thick of it and you start drowning. Like, you get sucked down this whirlpool, and you're like, where do I even go with this? So it's very overwhelming to someone who's never really dabbled in code before at all. So that's what I wish I knew. But then if I knew that, I probably wouldn't have even started this, having known how difficult it was going to be. So yeah,
absolutely. So now, knowing what you do know, what do you find has been the most challenging part of making this game?
Yeah, just the code, just learning how the logic works, what you got to tell the computer to get the result you want, and finding, Googling around, finding people's, similar things. So you've got a 2D character that moves left, right, up and down. It's not going to be the game that I'm going to be making, but at least I can take some of what they're telling me and apply it to my game and play around with some numbers and commands, and like, oh, presto, oh, okay, that works. Now I've learned something, jot that down, and then go through a list like that pretty much. So.
Yeah. What are some of the games which inspired you to try your hand at making a game?
Oh, well, like I said before, pretty much all the LucasArts games, all the point and click adventures. I was always a big arcade head back in my early teenage years, where you take all your pocket money and you go to Time Zone, we call it here, and waste it all within an hour, and then you go beg your mum, oh, can I have $2 more, please? And then you play, Daytona, or there's all sorts of things there, and that progressed to like a Super Nintendo. And then I got my own PC in the late 90s, and then got into EverQuest, got into pretty much anything, Fallout, the original Fallout 1 and 2, SimCity, geez, like you name any 90s PC game, I probably played it or got a pirate copy or a shareware demo, like Daggerfall, all sorts of things like that, Carmageddon, the list is almost endless. And from that, it just progresses through to maybe, the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where I started getting into a lot more strategy games, started more Civilization, more resource management games. I started to find myself liking more, rather than quick button bashing arcade games. Yeah, that's kind of something that I'm trying to, I guess we're all trying to reproduce those favorite mechanics in games that we all love the most. And you're like, it's kind of that feature creeps go creep thing where you just want to throw all these ideas at this game and make it work, but it's not. So you got to kind of pick your favorite parts, but it always comes from something you've seen before, something you've experienced before that you enjoyed, that you like, that makes you want to, push yourself through that process to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Andrew, it's been great talking to you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end off?
Not really. Just, check out my channel. Check out all Rob's other videos too. It's been very nice to jump out and approach me on this thing. This is your first interview, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and speaking of your channel, I have to congratulate you because I saw that today you hit 100 subscribers, which is quite a milestone.
Thanks very much.
For new channels on
milestone.
Yeah, well done.
Thanks very much. Yeah, no, I've kind of found a new passion with YouTube. I thought by doing a devlog was going to be in my head a nice motivational tool to, you set yourself goals with the devlog. So I'm going to make a devlog episode. I've got this idea. So I'm going to make, progress with the game to meet that devlog goal. And it kind of works symbiotically hand in hand with each other where I'm pushing through the game, meeting deadline goals, and it's kind of like a really good formula for me. So they're kind of working out really well. So yeah, with the devlog, check out my videos. I try and upload every 2 weeks. I'm branching out to other community members. I'm going to try and feature another channel on the end of every episode, just so pretty much all devloggers can be aware of each other. And, I'm sure there's already communities out there like that, but I just like meeting people and seeing what they have on offer. So, you know what I mean? Like seeing all the comments in everyone else's videos and seeing what they're doing, and that's a good idea. I might try and put something similar to that in my game, or wow, I didn't know you could even do that, and what did he do to achieve that, and I've learned something new, and yada yada. So yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us for this episode, and we'll definitely catch up with you down the line again.
Thanks, Rob. Looking forward to your next videos, and I'll definitely keep following your channel and put the word out there as to what you're doing, and have other people come your way, hopefully, and create something good here. You got a good idea going right now, so yeah.
Thanks, appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in to the very first episode of Game Dev Radio. Hope to see you all again next time. Goodbye.